So I have been only throwing backhand and backhand exclusively for more than 30 days. And there's a lot of things that I learned, a lot of things about backhand form in general that I learned, and also my perception about disc golf in general has changed in a few different ways. And I also understand the game better from the backhand only player's mindset. And I can understand a little bit better why players like Isaac Robinson and like James Conrad can be so effective out on the course without really even using a sidearm hardly ever. The first thing that I do want to talk about, I know a lot of you guys are into my grip and power pocket and a lot of that stuff. I do want to talk about my grip quick that I've settled on. I'm using I call it the Zach Nash grip, where I use a 3-finger power grip on the bottom. And then with my index finger, I'm putting this first knuckle on the inner rim right here. So this knuckle is like lined up with this. And I'm almost putting like side pressure of my finger into the disc like that, and then just power gripping the other 3 fingers. So it kind of just looks like that. So hopefully that shows you guys kind of what sort of grip I'm using. I'm using this on basically every disc. The distance between my index finger and my middle finger seems to change depending on the speed of the disc. So just make sure it's comfortable if you're going to try the grip. I had a finger injury that forced me to stop curling my index finger under the disc. So just to let you guys have the update on that, I know a lot of you guys are pretty involved in this backhand journey of mine. But the first thing I want to talk about is my disc selection has completely changed. The discs that I enjoy throwing, the discs I lean on out on the course. My entire bag has changed in a lot of different ways because I'm no longer throwing forehands, at least for the time being, because I have a shoulder injury that prevents me. It's called biceps tendonitis that prevents me from being able to throw in this way. So I've been forced by an injury to go backhand only. It's been more than 30 days now. And my bag after these 30 days is somewhat similar, but also quite different in a lot of different ways. I used to only bag like 1 or 2 understable molds in my bag at any given time. But now almost half my bag is neutral to understable discs. And I think this is really good for a lot of different reasons. For one, it's more fun. I have discs that I can throw on a multitude of different angles. I'm not just flat smashing forehand or flat smashing backhand with all my discs. This forces me to improve my form and technique, so I'm actually able to consistently throw on different angles. It also makes disc golf more fun in general because it expands my overall ability to throw a different range of shots. So for example, a disc that was already in my bag, I don't think I was throwing it with as much success as I should have, is the proxy. The fission proxy, the electron proxy, and the neutron proxy have been absolute staples. I am hitting lines with these discs like I never have before. I'm throwing dead straight 250 to 300 laser beams with the fission, and then a little more hyzer flippy stand-up shots with the neutron. Unfortunately, I lost my electron one, which was my like hyzer flip and turnover one. But before, I would just use the proxy once in a while for like a forced flat kind of turnover shot. But now I fully understand what the proxy is capable of because I'm having to shape shots to mimic what my forehand may do. And the proxies have been perfect for exactly that. And when we scale up in speed, this brings us to the Meteor and to the Detour. This Meteor is one of the most stable Meteors that I've ever thrown, but if I throw it full power, it will still drift from left to right at the end of the flight. But on most shots, I can just throw it super hard on a slight amount of hyzer and just get a dead straight drift the whole way through the flight, which is a new shot shape for me. It's not something like I didn't have the touch or the game sense to really understand how to use some of these neutral discs at times. And then if I want something a little more flip, I go with this Detour here. Between the Detour and the Meteor, I'm honestly just throwing these on like anything 350 and in for the most part. And even on a lot of par fours where you just need a positional play off the tee, we were playing at Grand Central Station in Tiger River Park the other day. On all the par fours and par fives, I was just throwing Meteor off the tee, getting 330 to 350 feet with relative ease and keeping it on a dead straight line. A lot less finicky than a distance driver might have been on those holes for me. And I was playing them with a lot of success. And then one last superstar disc that I probably never, ever would have bagged because it basically, this disc almost flies like a Firebird forehand for me. It basically just put it out on hyzer, finds this angle, goes this way the whole way, doesn't really push out, doesn't really punch forward at the end of the flight. Does exactly what my forehand was doing for me, but now I can do it with the backhand. And it's one of those things, you've got to learn to trust your discs and trust your game. It's another thing I never really fully did because I would just smash a stable. It's easy to trust a Firebird forehand. It takes time and it takes repetition to learn to trust a hyzer flip -4 turn archer. But now that I trust it, this is one of my most relied on shots. And this trusting the hyzer flip to turn is something that I never really fully grasped until I couldn't throw forehands anymore. So between the proxies, the detour, the meteor, and the archer, I'm doing things with my backhand that I honestly didn't think I would ever be able to do. And so I wanted to touch on some of those things because my perception on the backhand and the utility of the backhand in my own game has changed substantially. The next thing I want to talk about is coaching. I think if you're having problems with your form, posture, and technique, I don't necessarily think good or perfect form is required to score well out on the course. Maybe if you want to play on the pro tour, which is like the 0.0001 of people that play disc golf, maybe you need perfect form if you want to play at that setting. But I've seen players with not very impressive form win C tiers, B tiers, and A tiers. And they're amazing players, but they have very unconventional form, posture, and technique with their throw. But what I do think where form really matters is consistency and injury prevention. And players who don't necessarily have perfect form have typically been playing since they were really young or have a lot of experience with disc golf, and they have found ways to make their less than conventional form effective. Someone like Barry Schultz, his form, although it's very good, it's also very unconventional. He's whatever in his 50s or 60s, and he's still more than 10-20 rated, and he's far better than I'll ever be and far better than most of you watching will ever be. And he's doing it with very unconventional technique and throwing unconventional discs on a lot of holes as well. But again, you don't necessarily need perfect form to score well out on the course. The next thing I want to talk about is coaching. Sign up for a lesson with a local coach, go to a clinic, go to a seminar, but go to something where you're going to get one-on-one individual attention with someone who's going to record you, show you what you're doing wrong, and then help put you in the right positions. I did a lesson in person with Tyler Wozniak. A lot of you guys saw that video, had like 30-something thousand views. You guys really enjoyed that video. And I found that lesson super helpful. We made huge leaps and strides with my footwork, with my grip, with my thumb position. And a lot of these like nuanced things, you're not going to notice it watching yourself. Like I'll look at a video myself and think it's okay. But then when I watch it with a coach and they explain what I'm doing wrong, I'm like, that looks terrible. And I feel like I don't necessarily see things for what it is 100% of the time. I see things for the way that I want to see it, but not actually the way that it's actually going. So you need to get that outside eye looking in to help you break down your form so you can make those changes and get better over time. And this is particularly important if throwing far is important to you. So throwing far is something that I've been working on. I've added a ton of distance over the last month, and I've been really successful at it. And it's because I'm meticulously working on my form and technique, not only with Tyler, but also I've been going back and forth with Blitz Disc Golf and doing some online coaching stuff as well. I did a video with him, which you guys also really enjoyed. But the next lesson is that you must talk to a coach. You must work with a coach. Unless you've been playing disc golf since you were super young, or you're super duper gifted and talented and you just don't need coaching because you're just that good. Again, very small percentage of us. Most of us should take the time to work with a coach a few times, get the basics, get the fundamentals down, and it will help limit your learning curve and just blast your trajectory in the upward direction a lot faster than you would have otherwise done on your own. So anyway, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. I was out here throwing and I was just trying to conceptualize like all of the things that I wanted to like talk about in today's video. And there's just so many things that I wanted to talk about. It would have been a 40-minute video if I sat here and threw a bunch of shots while I was talking about it. I think there's a lot of things that go into being a good disc golfer, and we haven't even started to talk about scoring yet. I'm going to do a lot of videos on scoring, shooting 1,000 rated rounds, playing better in tournaments. A lot of that stuff is coming soon. I really want to wait until my shoulder is healed until I play a tournament because I just need that forehand hyzer, and I would really like to have my forehand upshot. I definitely plan on playing tournaments again, but I really just want to have my forehand upshot back in my game. If I can throw forehand upshots, I'm confident that I can shred almost any course. My skill set has come up many levels over the last month of just playing backhand only. And I think being forced to throw backhand upshots has helped my progression in that. But when it comes to playing well in a tournament setting, I do think the forehand upshot is a critical shot in my game when it comes to at least fighting for a win, shooting well in a B or an A tier tournament, or shooting 1,000 rated rounds in general. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I do definitely want to start playing tournaments again. Once I can throw forehand like 50 feet, which I can't do right now, I'll feel like my shoulder's in an okay enough spot to start playing competitive rounds again. But for now, we're going to continue practicing. We're going to continue learning, and we're going to continue growing in disc golf. And I'm going to try and keep you guys up to date on my journey. And yeah, just let you know how it's going. Keep you up to date on all the things I'm working on, the things that are working for me, the things that are not. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. Check out discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv, 10% off any disc on the website. And then obviously bergsdiscsports.com. If you want to support me, go check out the links in the description below. This is the best disc golf bag ever made for the best price. We have a good sale going on right now, and you can get an additional 20% off of my code. So if you want one, go get one. Go get discs at discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv. Stay humble with gratitude. I'll catch you in the next one, and take care.